Hello, my name is James Nelly. My student number is G00346996, and this is a presentation and screencast and demo of the project. So I'm just going to run through it. I'm going to start off. So the first problem I came across was actually thinking of what project we were going to do, and at the time we were both doing, myself and Brendan were both doing our lessons for our driving test, and we kind of came to the realization that there was no online platform to actually book our lessons online or on a website or anything or on mobile or no app. So we kind of came up with the idea that we'd actually make a website where you could book your lessons through an instructor online on the website we made, and you could actually delete a booking and update a booking at the same time. And this picture here is just kind of the architecture of the solution that we made. So I'm just going to go on to the next slide. So we use the Angular framework to design and make the application. It's kind of cool features with the cards and display, like you can kind of make the cards like that and display it like this. And I had used Angular for about, I think it was 2 years ago in another module, so I had a fair idea of the different elements that were needed to make an application like this. And it's easy enough to generate the different components and services needed. And it actually runs off its own Angular development server, and that kind of just runs locally. So I'm just going to go on to the next slide with Node.js. So we used Node.js as our server. It's called Express Server, and like all these GET requests and POST requests and delete requests, they're in the API.js file in the backend, and they carried all the these requests to the database. Our database is actually MySQL, and they're connected to each other. And the API.service file in the Angular application will carry out these requests from the page itself when you're clicking on them. So I'm just going to run over to the next slide. The MySQL. So we had 4 different tables. It was an instructor table that'll stores all the information about the instructors, their names and email and a picture of them. And in the users table, then we have, just for when you're making an account, you can all the information goes into the users table. And when you're logging in, you verify the login through the users table. And with the location table, then it just stores all the locations of where the instructors are, where they're situated. And the booking table then just stores all the information for all the bookings that you've made. And these are actually the booking name, booking date, start time, end time are actually all. They're constraints of duplicate keys, so I'll get to that when we're in the project. I'm doing the demo, and all of the server and the database are actually are deployed on AWS. So firstly, I get to set up the inbound rules so that for the port numbers, so that I actually access it from the database and from our API.service, and to grant all access in the MySQL and the WAMP server to allow all the access for this to happen. I had used AWS 4 in a database module, so I had a fair idea how to go about it, and especially even down here launching the instance, I didn't realize, but the public DNS actually, every time you start it, you get a new public DNS every time. So I had to keep an eye out for that. Sometimes I forgot, and it would crash, but I figured it out. It does. It just you get a new IP v4 public IP every time you launch it. And conclusion then, basically, the experience. I definitely learned to manage my time a lot better with this project, because there had to be a lot more time involved with it and a lot more effort put in, because it was our last and it was our dissertation, so there was a lot of time put into it. And especially on the teamwork side of it, then especially with the crisis going on, myself and Brendan had to stay in contact quite a bit just to keep things rolling and making sure we were all, pulling our own weight and stuff. And teamwork is a big part of software development anyway in the industry, because there's a lot of collaboration going on across different teams and different sections in the different jobs. And I definitely got more of an understanding of different services and components used and how they all kind of interlink with one another and connect and flow with each other. So that kind of concludes the the presentation. So I'm just going to run through the demo. So I'm just going to so I have this already account almost made. So I'm just going to type in a password. So I'm just going to go test1234, just make it easy. So I'm just going to register there, and then I'm going to Nelly123. Just going to put in test again now. So I'm brought to the instructor table and or instructor page, sorry, and I have the option here to actually search for. I'll go for Mark. You can search Mark, any instructor you want, and you have the option then to actually go to locations page, view the instructors in that location. So I can find Mark here again, or Dennis, whoever. So if I want to, let's say if I wanted to make a booking with, we'll go with John Smith. So I'm gonna just stick in my email here. We'll go with the 8th, and I was going to put a start time and an end time of 9 o'clock and 10. So I'm going to create that booking. So that was successfully created. So I'm going to run over to my manage bookings, and you'll see. So it was the 8th of May that I put in, and if I want to, so I can I'll actually go back to the locations page. I'm going to go on John Smith again, and I added this other piece of functionality, like I forgot to mention. I can actually, sorry, their name, John Smith, was actually picked there, so his name is already populated into the instructor name. So you don't have to change that, so you don't have to remember it, so it's just gone in. So I'm just gonna use the same date again actually, and just show you another just piece of functionality that I did. So when I create that booking, so I literally just created that before. It's the same date and time, so the database knows, oh, this is created, so you can't do it again, pick another time. That's grand. And then if I wanted to update this booking, then so it's on the 8th of May. So if I change that, I'm just going to go to the 27th. We'll change the time to 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Update that booking. I'll go back to manage bookings now. 27th, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. They're all set. And then I can just, if I wanted, I can just delete that booking. That's cancelled. That booking's been cancelled, so I don't need it anymore. And the last bit then, that's kind of the end of the demo, and it's going to run on to GitHub. So yeah, just kind of, we use GitHub then just to, merge the project together and work together with it. And we've been using this for like the last 4 years in college, so we have a lot of knowledge about it. And yeah, just kind of the different commits. There was like, we had a lot of commits in definitely more from kind of February onwards. It definitely peaked, and the work had to be put in. But that's kind of the end of the presentation. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.